Okay, watch this video if you would like for this article to be read aloud to you. Now, you are supposed to read about the 5 possible theories of what happened to the European settlers at Roanoke. As you watched in the presentation and learned, it is a mystery what happened to those settlers and why they disappeared. No one knows for sure, but here are 5 popular theories of what could have happened to them. I want you to take notes. You can either handwrite your notes or you can type them into your Chromebook or whatever computer device that you have. But bring those notes to class tomorrow because we will be discussing these theories. Pay attention. The first theory is that the people of Roanoke simply left the settlement. This one is the more probable theory. It is said that they have supposedly left Roanoke Island, the settlers supposedly left Roanoke Island, and started settling in the Chesapeake Bay, and that's a location close to Roanoke Island. People believe that they built rafts or a boat of some kind using materials torn apart from their houses. Close to 20 years had passed before John Smith and his group started the well-known settlement in Jamestown. We will be talking about Jamestown later on in the school year. But between Roanoke Island and the settlement of Jamestown, 20 years had passed. The settlement of Jamestown was near Chesapeake Bay. The evidence from this possibility is that the ruler of the natives who lived in Chesapeake admitted to killing the colonists. He said that they had been in their land, Chesapeake Bay, and they were killed to prevent more English settlers from stealing their land. So this theory believes that, or this theory shows that the people of Roanoke, the settlers, went to Chesapeake Bay, and then supposedly the ruler of the natives at Chesapeake Bay admitted to killing them because they came onto his land and he thought they were stealing land from them. That's one possible theory. It has not been proven. The second theory, the whole population of Roanoke Island was killed by a disease. This theory is not likely to be true. It is true.
How may I help you?
Sorry. It is true that the English had brought over some diseases. We talked about how they had suffered through the harsh winters and had gotten sick. However, there were no bodies found at the houses that had been deserted. When John White came back to Roanoke, he had found no evidence of human beings being there. That's the second theory. The third, the village was destroyed by a severe storm, like a hurricane. This is another theory that might not be true. A hurricane could have washed away the colonists and destroyed the houses, but the fence was still standing that said the word Croatoan. When John White came back to Roanoke, he saw the fence post and saw the words Croatoan had been carved into it. So that was still standing. It's not possible for a storm to do as much damage as clearing away the whole settlement, but the fence remained untouched. That's the third theory. The fourth theory states the people of Roanoke decided to leave Roanoke Island to live with the natives. This theory is definitely probable. It is definitely possible. Croatoan, which was carved on the fence post, was the name of an island in the area. We talked about that. It was also the name of the group of the kind of natives that inhabited it. It was the name of the Native Americans who lived there. It is possible that the colonists decided to live with the natives of Croatoan, though there has not been a decent amount of evidence to prove this theory. But there also has not been enough evidence to prove against it. So that's the fourth possibility. The fifth possibility says that the colonists were killed by the Native Americans. This is another probable theory. One important fact supports this theory. As you may not know, the Englishmen had before tried to start the colony of Roanoke. We talked about the first attempt. This was a group, and the group of 15 men had stayed behind. And if you remember, they had all been killed by the time the settlers came back the second time to colonize Roanoke. When the explorers came back the second time to colonize Roanoke, there was one dead body that had been found. The skull had been found of that person. This was verified, this was proven that it was work of the natives. From this past event, we know that the natives are capable of killing the settlers. We talked about the relationship between the European settlers and the Native American Indians and how they were constantly butting heads. They were not nice to each other. But what's interesting is that the natives pulled all of that off in between less than a 2-year period. They had killed the 15 men, or they had killed all of the settlers and removed all of their bodies within a 2-year period, because by the time John White had returned, there was no evidence of a struggle. There were no dead bodies or anything. So the natives would have had to kill all the settlers and remove all evidence of that happening. And the Indians would have had to have had enough time to tear down the buildings too. But there's still not enough evidence to verify this theory. It could have possibly been done because we talked about 3 years before John White returned. So they could have done that. But that is the fifth theory. Okay, and now take notes on all 5 of those theories and come to class tomorrow ready to debate.